Let's share it again. Okay. Towards the end of the last week class, I think everyone agrees that you are at level 9. Level 9 in terms of your understanding about that chapter. From the scale of 1 to 10, 1 is the lowest in terms of understanding, 10 is the highest. You are at about 9. Do you still think that you are still at 9? Eric and Jaden. If not, which level do you think you are? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Any response? Still at 9? Eric, you were here, right? Yes, you were here. Jaden, you were here last week. 8-ish. Right. Now, let me ask you some questions. Then you assess yourself if you are 8-ish or whether you are 9 or maybe lower. Do you still remember the main story? If you remember, yes. If you don't, then maybe you are not at 9. Do you still remember the drawer name? Again, if you remember, then you are 9. If not, then maybe you are lesser than 9. Do you still remember the drawer story? There are 5 drawers. Each drawer has their own story. Same answer. If you don't, then maybe you're not at 9. Right. Why this drawer name, drawer story are important? Because this is where you are able to do quick revisions in less than 10 minutes. And why this revision is important? Because this will help you to remember what you have learned in the class in less than 10 minutes. You don't need to go through again the 2 hours class. In less than 10 minutes, it's able to help you to refresh what you have understood in that chapter well, right? Because human brains tends to forget things over time. So what I did is I created this cartoon or these animations to help you to remember this better. Like let's try to watch this 2 minutes video quickly.
We on ground floor. Hear loud noise. From football pitch. Detected sound by Emily and Ultraman. Drawer.
Right, this is drawer 1. Then you have the story, then you have the drawer 2, you have the story, and so on and so forth. The first part is the main story. So the main story is to help you to remember the name of the drawer. Right, we are on ground floor. Hear loud noise from football pitch. Detected sound by Emily and Ultraman. So we means wave. Ground floor sounds like sound, ground. Wait, let me add them in. Right. Xuan and Jing Sam and Kevin, we haven't started the chapter. We were just revising. Revising last week's chapter. So I'll continue with Jaden and Eric, and then you can see where you can pick up. Right. So that story is to help you to remember the name of the drawer. Loud noise, football pitch, detected sound, which is detecting sound. Then Emily and Ultraman, which is echo and ultrasound. Kevin, if you do not understand, it's fine because you did not attend last week class. So just bear with us. In a few minutes, we'll start. Then for the drawer, every drawer have their own story. And that story I'm going to show you now. Let's continue to watch.
Or 1. Waves. Angry wave. Fight with. Long transformer. Reflected. Super combined. Drawer 2.
Okay, before we go to drawer 2, let me do a quick refresh on what does it mean by this angry wave. You saw that very angry wave was trying to fight with a long transformer. Right, if you see drawer 1, there are 3 key points over here: wave feature, wave types, and interactions. So angry wave is representing amplitude A, angry, wavelength, the wave, fight, frequency, long transformer, which is going to the second point, longitudinal wave, and transverse wave. Right, if you are still at level 9 in terms of your understanding, or even 8-ish, like what Eric mentioned, then you should know what is the content that you have understood last week in drawer 1. And that story is to help you to remember faster and easier. Angry wave is fighting with long transformer. And then they're reflected and super combined. Right. So that short story already help you to remember the key information or the key message in drawer 1. And that story, that cartoon that you saw just now, is to help you to even get you easier to remember that story. Right. So let's continue on drawer 2.
Sound. Chili sauce medium. Spicy freeze. Too solid. And evaporates. Too gas. Drawer 3.
Right. The AI did not create the story as what I wanted, but it's fine because we are using it as a reference. So what was the story? There's a chili sauce, the chili sauce that you eat and it's very spicy, but this chili sauce is medium spicy. Then we freeze this chili sauce into solid. And next we evaporate the chili sauce into gas. Right, so that is the story. And how is this story related to drawer 2? Remember last week we learned about about sound. Drawer 2, there needs to be a vibrating source. All the sound need to have a vibrating source, and all the sounds need to transmit in a medium. It cannot travel through a vacuum. Right, so medium spicy is to help you to remember the keywords medium. Chili sauce is the sauce. Then it travels faster in solid and liquid and then gas. In the story, remember the chili sauce frozen into solid and then evaporates into gas. So that very short story is able to refresh or reinforce what you have learned in drawer number 2. Right? So let's go to drawer. Kevin, just bear with us. We are going to drawer 3, 4, and 5, then we'll start. Debbie frequently turn on loud amplifier. Right, let's start.
Loudness and pitch. Debbie. Frequently turn on. Loud amplifier. Drawer 4.
Right, what does this story mean? Let's go back. Drawer 3 is about loudness and pitch. Loudness is associated with or determined by amplitude. Pitch is frequency. So that story is to help you to remember these key informations where dB is representing the decibel, the unit of the loudness. Then frequently turn on loud amplifier. So loudness determines by amplitude, and then there is frequency that you need to know about pitch. Yes, it's also related to the pitch, and that's it. So let's go to drawer 4 before we move on to the next chapter.
Detecting sound. Pink chickens. Ears overload. Overreact. Creating noise. Drawer 5.
Right. So what does this mean? This means if you go back to the drawer 4, what do you have in here? You have the human ears, the outer ears, the middle ears, the inner ears. And outer ears, you have different components. Pinna, auditory canal, eardrum, ossicles, over window, cochlea, auditory nerve. It's very, very difficult to remember this. And most of the time, if there is an exam that you need to take, they will ask about this. What is the functions? How the sound travels in your ears? Can you explain? Right. So you need to know all these components. How do you remember this? We remember this using this mnemonic. Pink chicken ears overload, overreacted, creating noise. So pink chicken is what? P is pinna, right? You see, if you go back to this, pinna. Pink chicken. Chicken, I use C as canal. So pink chicken, ears, overload. So ears is eardrum. Overload is ossicle. Then they overreacted. So oval window. And create noise. Create is cochlea. Noise is auditory nerve. So that helps you to remember the component of the outer ears, middle ears, inner ears easily in just a few seconds. Pink chicken ears overload, then overreacted and create noise. Right? So drawer 5.
5. Echoes and ultrasound. Ultramen. Reflected in the mirror. And see baby.
Right. Drawer 5. Drawer 5 is talking about echo and ultrasound. So the story is about Ultraman reflected and see baby. Ultraman obviously is to help you to remember that there is this ultrasound that we learn in that drawer, in that chapter. Reflected is to help you to remember this echo. It uses reflection of the sound to calculate distance. Then see baby. See baby is the ultrasound is also being used for medical imaging. So when there's a baby inside a mommy tummy, they use ultrasound as the technology to see the baby, right? So that is what we have learned last week. Do you feel that? I hope you feel that by doing these steps in less than 10 minutes, it helps you to remember what you have learned last week. If not 100%, maybe even 90%. Right? So that is where you are able to maintain at level 9, even over times, even after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 2 months. But you have to do this frequently. Else, you will not be able to maintain. Your level 9 will continue to degrade until to a lower level. Right? So let's continue on our next chapter. The chapter is light. Let me pull out the notes to rearrange. Okay, we have a new student here today, Kevin. So I hope you are able to follow it. If not, then let me know. How do we start is we usually start with step 1. There are in total 10 steps that we need to follow over a 2-period class. No, 2 hours class. So we always jot the starting time. The starting time of this chapter now is 8:43. We started a bit late because of we did the revision, right? So let's start with step 1. So this is for Kevin. Once you start this class, you have to expect to sit there for 2 hours. I know 2 hours is a bit long, but by end of the 2 hours, you will understand the chapter well, and this has proven. All the students here can testify, right? So prepare yourself for the 2 hours, and I need your attention. And these 2 hours, what do you need to do is you need to follow step 1 until step 10. Different steps have different methods and ways of doing it. I will guide you through, but you have to be mentally prepared that you need to sit here for 2 hours, and mentally prepare that at the end of the 2 hours, you will be able to understand the chapter well. Which I'm sure if I give you a textbook to read for this chapter, you will not be able to fully understand the chapter in 2 hours. Right? You understand a bit, but not to the level that you're going to understood after this class. So let's try. If it does, then this method works for you, as how this method works for the rest of the students. Right. So welcome, Jing Sam. We just started because just now we were reviewing the previous week chapter. So let's start chapter light, step 1. Step 1 is to create drawer. There are 5 drawers over here. And we have to create a story to help you to remember the name of the drawer in sequence easier. Right, as like what we did last week with the sound. The sound where we were in ground floor and we detected the sound. Right, with the Ultraman and Emily. Okay? So let's continue with the new chapter. We have light, reflection, refraction, eye and camera, colors. So I created this story. If you have pen and paper, write it down because you're going to use this quite a lot as a reference. Light. You can imagine Light as a person. His name is Light. He reflects his muscle. This guy is having a lot of muscle, and he reflects his muscle. And he refractured his bone. Then he became eye and able to see colors. Right. So that is the short and silly story. Why silly story? Because only silly story is able to stick in your mind. Right. So light is related to the light. Reflect muscle is reflection. Sounds a bit like reflection. Refractured his bone, like refraction. You do not know what is refraction now, it's fine because you are here to learn. And then he became, or the bone, whichever makes sense for you, became eye. It turned into eye. And to help you to remember, drawer 4, eye and camera. And then see colors. Drawer 4, drawer 5 is colors. So 5 drawers: light, reflection, refraction, eyes and camera, colors. That is step 1. That's it. We've done step 1, and I will just give you an overview of what is in the cartoon or in the animation to help you to remember the story better.
GCSE. Chapter Light. Light. Reflex muscle. Refractured bone became eye.
Wait, something is wrong with my browser. Wait, let me just restart the browser. Ah, it's here. It's back here. Are you guys able to see the video? Let me just try again. Hold on. Let me close all the browser to make sure that it's not creating problems. Right. Let me start again.
GCSE. Chapter Light. Light reflex muscle. Refractured bone became eye. See colors. Drawer 1.
That's it. This is the main story. Right, main story. Light reflects his muscle, then refractured his bone, and then he became eyes and see colors. So that's helping you to remember light, reflection, refraction, eyes and camera, colors. That's it. Now, let's move to step 2. Let's move to step 2. Step 2 is this part here. Okay, let's read it from drawer 1 until drawer 3. Don't worry if you do not fully understand, because you are not supposed to be fully understanding this at this point of time. Just read it and know that, for example, drawer 1 is light. You should know it by now, the name at least. Then there are two key points over here: travel and speed and materials. Then for drawer 2, reflection, you have 3 key points: the law of reflections, the type of reflections, and how the mirror image. Then for drawer 3, you have refractions. You have the definition of refraction, and you have this convex lens. So in 1 minute, read drawer 1 until camera. Let's start now. Twenty seconds. 10 seconds. All right. So now, like I say, if you do not understand, even after reading this is normal. If on the scale of 1 to 10, in terms of understanding level, 1 is the lowest, 10 is the highest, you should be at about 1 to 2, the level of 1 to 2. You just need to know there is something related to light that you need to learn, reflection that you need to learn, refraction that you need to learn. And if you go a bit more further, you know that there is something related to the speed of light, and there are 3 types of materials. Even if you don't remember these terms, it's fine as of now. You're going to remember this later. And you're going to understand, not just remember, understand it later. Then for reflection, there is this law. If you can understand what is this law about, then you're genius. If no, it's fine. You're normal, because we just started, right? Then for refraction, you just need to know, you need to learn later in following steps. Now we are still in step 2. We just started. So your understanding level should be at number 2 or number 1, right? So don't expect yourself to be fully understanding the whole thing by now. Just we are building a Lego, right? So let's do drawer 4 and drawer 5 in 1 minute. Let me just align this better for you to read. Okay, let's start now. Drawer 4 and drawer 5. 4 and 5. Ten more seconds. Right? Now, your understanding level should be at 1 or 2 out of 10 for all the drawers. And there are 5 drawers. Now, the next step is step 3 here. Let me scroll down, which I call it read the summary. So I need you to have this intention in your mind that you are going to improve your understanding level from 2 to 3. I'm not expecting you from 2 to 10 or even 9, but 2 to 3. What do you mean by 2 to 3? 3, if you're going to an exam, 100% is the full point. I'm expecting you to get 30% only, right? To understand 30%, right? But you need to have an improvement because you are now at 2. You need to increase to 3. And how do you read this? If you realize, this is drawer 1, light, here as your reference, number 2, so step 2, light. And then you have travel and speed. You have also travel and speed here. And then you have materials, interaction with materials. Also, you have something related to materials over here, right? The only difference here is now you have more information compared to step 2 just now. You have more information in the materials compared to step 2 just now. So obviously, your understanding should be able to increase a bit more from 2 to 3, right? So let's do that. In 1 minute, let's do drawer 1, step 3. Let's start now. Right? Read from drawer 1 light until shadow with the intention to increase your understanding by a little bit. Twenty seconds. Ten seconds. All right, time's up. I hope everyone is able to read this small passage over here. And now your understanding on drawer 1 should have increased from 2 to 3. For drawer 2, your understanding maybe is still at 2, but it's not going to last for long. We are going to take 2 minutes to read this part. I'm going to divide it into 2 parts. So let's start now. From drawer until whichever here. Because I'm going to give you 2 minutes to read the whole thing. Okay, 30 seconds. I'm going to slow it down a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to add 1 more minute. I'm going to slow it down a bit more to cover the remaining part. Twenty seconds. Ten seconds. All right, that's for drawer 2. So by now your understanding should increase a little bit more. Let's say to the level of 3, which is 30%, 30 points. If you take exam, I'm expecting you to get 30 points. Only 30 points, not high. If you answer MCQ question, multiple choice question, 10, I'm expecting you to answer 3 correct only, right? And that is level 3. Now, let's do the same drill, but now is drawer 3. Okay, drawer 3, this is your reference. This is your reference here. What are the key points? There are 2 key points. And on the left side, you have also 2 key points, but you have more information. So 2 key points. The first key point is reflection. Then they have the descriptions. Then you have lens. Then you have the descriptions. Or the convex lens. Then you have the description. Right. So with the intention to improve from 2 to 3. Right. Let's do it in 1 minute. And read from drawer 3 until camera. 20 seconds. Right, time's up. Now we'll continue the same drill for drawer 4. Right, drawer 4. Drawer 4, I'll give you 2 minutes because I think you need more time to reflect and understand the component in the eye. So let's start now. 1 minute. Okay, let me just do this 2 minutes. Okay, let's do 2 minutes. Don't worry that you need to remember the the components from the eyes, cornea, pupil, iris. I'll help you later. You just need to know there's these components. That's it. No need to memorize the terms, the name. 40 seconds. Twenty seconds. Ten seconds. All right. Let's continue on the last drawer. Drawer 5, colors. Colors. Okay, I think this is quite straightforward. So I'll do 1 minute. Let's start now. Read from drawer 5 until absorb. Thirty seconds. Ten seconds. All right. Now we are in step 4. Now, before that, let's read this again. Remember, we read this step 2 at about 8:50 because we took some time to go through step 1. 8:50 until now is 15 seconds. Right. Sorry, 15 minutes. Sorry, 15 minutes. When you started reading this, your understanding about the chapter is maybe level 2. Now you finish step 3, your understanding should be higher. Now I need you to read this part again and ask yourself if you feel that you understood it more than when you were reading it at 8:50. Right, let's read draw 1 until camera for 1 minute. I'll give you 1 more minute to continue reading 4 and 5. right? You should have this feeling now that at 8:50 just now, you are quite worried. What have you read? You do not understand quite well about what you have read. But 15 minutes later, now you read it again, your confidence level increased a little bit. You understood what light is about, what is the speed of light, what is the materials, what are the reflection law, angle of incident, angle of reflections, then the type of reflections, and what is refraction. If you do not understand fully now, it's still okay. You still have time. We are still in step 3. And then about the comparison between eye and camera. And then what is color? Okay. If you do not fully understand, that is fine. Because I'm expecting you to be at the level of 3 now. Right. Level 3 is quite a low level. So let's continue to build up, to increase your level from 3 to 4. Let's go to step 4. Step 4 is frequent asked questions. So let's do 2 minutes. Let's not rush it. Let's do 2 minutes. Let's do 2 minutes. Read from drawer 1, light, until darkness. With the intention that you're going to improve from level 3 to level 4 for drawer 1. Thirty seconds. 20 seconds. Okay. So you should have new information related to what is luminous and non-luminous compared to what you have read just now. And then for the transparent, translucent, and opaque, it's just giving you more information what is transparent, translucent, and opaque. And that is where you're able to move from level 3 to level 4, understanding level. On a scale of 1 to 10, now you're moving towards 10. You're at 4 now, right? There's one more question related to drawer 2. Let's also do 2 minutes. Let's not rush it because we just started. Let's start now to help you to improve from 3 to 4. Okay, 40 seconds. Ten seconds. Okay, time's up. So now do the same drill, but it is for drawer 2. 3 to 4. Right? Let's do 1 minute. This is very short. Ten more seconds. All right. Let's do the second question for drawer 2. Also 1 minute. Let's start now. Ten seconds. Okay, time's up. Let's move on to drawer 3. Drawer 3. Also 1 minute. Let's start now. Twenty seconds. Okay. Next question for drawer 3, and hope that you are going to increase your understanding level from 3 to 4. Let's start now. Ten seconds. All right. Now let's move to drawer 4. Drawer 4. I hope everyone is still following, especially Kevin. Kevin is the first time here, so I hope you are able to follow and try to get used to how we do this, the method of doing it. Let's start now. Twenty seconds. Okay, time's up. Drawer 4. Before we move to the last drawer. Drawer 4. Let's start now. Thirty seconds. Ten seconds. Okay, let's move to drawer 5. Drawer 5 is talking about how can the white light be split into rainbow, right? White light, there are 7 colors. So let's start now. Thirty seconds. Ten seconds. All right. Last one before we move to step 5. Let's start now. Twenty seconds. All right. Time's up. Before we move to step 5, I wanted you to feel that, in fact, you have increased your knowledge from 1 at 8:43 just now to somewhere higher, maybe 3 or maybe 4. Right? If you have the same feeling like I do, then you're on the right track. You're on the right track, right? Because we are still in step 4. We haven't completed the 10 steps. So if you feel that you did not fully understand the whole thing, the whole chapter, this is normal because you're still in step 4. You just completed step 4. And if you have to put it into numbers, your understanding now from 1 to 10, you should be at the level of 4. Level of 4 is 40%. 10 questions, 4 correct, 6 wrong. And that is normal, right? So don't set too high expectation that you should be knowing everything by now. You will be knowing most of the chapter, information in the chapter in another 1 hour, right? So just be patient. In another 1 hour, you reach there. And for the rest, other than Kevin, I think the rest, you have this confident level because you have already done this. Like, I don't know, some like Jaden has already done it more than 10 times. Shen has also more than 10 times, right? Eric, maybe 7, 8 times. Jing Sam, maybe 3 or 4 times. You have already done this, and it's very clear that by the end of the class, if I give you 10 MCQ, you're going to get 8, 9, or some of you, even 10 out of 10 questions correct, right? So now your level is 4. 4 correct questions, and that is the level that you should be expecting. Now, I'll give you 3 minutes break time. I'll not get 5 minutes like normal. I'll give you 3 minutes for this week. Let's start now. You can go for your toilet break or your water break before we move on to step 5. See you later. Okay, Cash, see a show of hand who is here now. Is everyone here? Eric, Xuan, Jingsam, Jaden? Can I see a show of hand? Yes, Jingsam is here, Xuan is here, Eric is here, Jaden is here, everyone is here. Okay, good. right? So now, for step 5, I hope everyone have the same feeling that now your understanding about this chapter increase to a higher level, whether it's 4 or whether it's 5. I'm sure everyone will have different levels. Even different drawer, you have different levels, right? But most importantly, the intention is right. Where when you read something, you on that particular drawer, your intention is to increase the level that you are now to a higher level. So drawer 1. So let's start drawer 1 from drawer 1 for now. Okay, let's get 2 minutes. Okay, let's read drawer 1 light. Now, I'll give you, I'll restart for two minutes. Let's start now. From drawer 1 until here, into. 30 seconds. For those who have read everything, you can read it again if you want to make full use of the remaining time. 10 seconds. All right, time's up. Oh, there's a little bit here more. I'll give you 30 seconds just to complete this part here. 30 seconds. All right. So I'll repeat again. The intention of reading this. On the scale of 1 to 10, 1 is the lowest level of understanding of the chapter. 10 is the highest. You should be at about 5, the level of 5 now for drawer 1. Right, for drawer 1, because you have already done step 1 until step 5. Level of 5. So don't expect yourself to be level 10 now. You reach there soon, but not now. So let's continue the same drill for drawer 2 with the intention that you are improving from 4 to 5. 4 to 5 understanding. Your understanding about drawer 2. Also 2 minutes. Let's start now. 30 seconds. Bear in mind, there are 3 key messages in this drawer too. For those who finish reading, you can actually map which part of the step 5 is related to which part of the key message. Time's up. Let's do drawer 3 also in 2 minutes. Let's start now. One more minute. So for those who finish later, you can match the 2 key points over here. Which part in the step 5 is related to refraction or convex lens? Twenty seconds. Ten seconds. Right. Let's go to drawer 4. Drawer 4. We'll do 2 minutes also. I'm going to slow down a bit. Let's start now. One more minute. Thirty seconds. Drawer 4 basically is a comparison between eye and camera. All right. 5 more seconds. Time's up. Last drawer. Last drawer. Last drawer is okay. I'll give you 2 minutes. Let's start now. Let me scroll down a bit. One more minute. $30. Finish. Finish. Just read it. 10 seconds. All right. So that is step 5. We're going to step 6. Step 6 is to explain to you the story for each drawer. So let's do it based on one drawer at a time. Drawer number 1 is a light. The story that I created is travel at the speed of light and became transparent. So let's go back to the keynotes. You see what are the key information over here? You have travel and speed, and then you have materials, right? And the story is to help you to remember the content, the information inside drawer number 1. Somebody, could be you, travel at the speed of light, became transparent. So you can imagine the story inside your brain now. Travel at the speed of light and became transparent. This is to help you to remember that if you have to explain the drawer 1 light, you have to explain the speed of the light, and also what is the light years. And then the materials, there are 3 types of materials: transparent, translucent, and opaque. Let's see drawer 1, the story from here. Can you see my screen? And can you hear?
Light. Travel at the speed of
Yeah, just to make sure. Can I see 1 or 2 show of hand that you can see the screen, and also you can hear the video? Are you? Yes, Jaden. Okay, good. So let me just rewind it a bit here. Remember the story? You are traveling at the speed of light and you become transparent.
light. Travel at the speed of light. And became transparent. Drawer 2.
All right. So that's a short story. This short story is helping you to remember the key informations. The key informations are, where is it? The key informations are this: travel, speed, materials. Right. Let's go to drawer 2. Drawer 2 is Lawrence face left is smooth, right is rough in the mirror. Right. So Lawrence obviously is talking about the law of reflections, Lawrence. So this Lawrence is to trigger you to know that there is something about law that you need to explain and you need to know in drawer 2. Then there's a smooth and there's a rough. So this is to explain the specular, which is smooth, and diffuse, which is rough. And when he look at the mirror, this is what he see. And then mirror is to reflect that you have something that you need to know related to the plane mirror image. All right. So that's why Lawrence face left smooth, right is rough in the mirror. So this is Lawrence face in the mirror. All right. So let's watch the video again.
Reflection. Lauren's face left is smooth. Right rough in the mirror. Drawer 3.
All right. Okay. I hope this explains what I'm trying to illustrate in the drawer. The third drawer, refraction. Truck into mud. So a truck, he's driving into a mud and change speed. Then it curve out and focus. So truck into mud means there's a change in speed. If you're imagine if you're driving a car into a mud, of course there's a change in speed, right? So the mud is to represent there's a medium change. From no mud to mud, there's a medium change. Once there's a medium change, there's a change in speed. There's a change in speed. Once there's a change in speed, and then the refractions happen. Then out curve and focus. Convex lens is like your glasses, if you're wearing glasses. It's not a flat lens, it's an out curved lens, right? And then there's a focal point and focal length that you need to know in the lens. So that's why I say out curve and focus. Let's see the video.
3. Refraction. Truck into mud, change speed. Out curve and focus. Drawer 4.
Right, drawer 4, we're almost there. Drawer 4, cool people in lab read octopus. Light always adjust, lens cut store. Right. Why cool people in lab read octopus is, if I bring up the keynotes over here, cool, C is cornea, pupil is people, iris is in the eye, in, lens, the lab, L, retina, read, optic nerve, octopus. So cool people in lab read octopus. This is to help you to remember the eye's components in sequence, okay, from cornea right until the optic nerve. Then if you need to compare it with camera, so camera, cornea is equivalent to lens, the front element. Pupil is equivalent to the aperture, then aperture control, lens, CCD, and storage. So how do I do the same mnemonic? Light always adjusts, lens cut store. Light always adjusts, dim and bright, and then the lens cut the store. There's a very big lens, it cuts this store. This store is like selling the fruit juice or lemonade. I cut it into half, right? So that is the story of drawer 4. Let's watch the story.
The eye and the camera. Cool people in labs read octopus. Light always adjust, lens cut store. Drawer 5.
Okay, in the picture or in the video, lens cut store doesn't reflect, but I think you get the point. Right, so drawer 5, let me just pull up. Okay, drawer 5 is about light, it's about colors. Apple hates red, white hates colors. Why? Why do you see red apple as red? Because it absorbs all the colors, but it reflect the red colors only. So that's why he hates red. Although he's a red apple, but he hates red. For white, he hates all the colors, right? To help you to be able to understand the content of drawer 5 easier. Let's watch the story.
Color. Red apple hates red. White hates 7 colors.
Okay. So that is step 6. That is step 6. And by now, I hope that you also felt your understanding level increased by a little bit more, from maybe 5 to 6. From maybe 5 to 6. This story is to help you to remember and understand the content of the chapter for each of the drawer easier, right? So let's go to step 7. Step 7 is answer some quiz question, very short quiz question, right? Very short quiz question. So when you read this question number 1, explain the difference between luminous object and non-luminous object. I think you read this before, right? That is drawer number 1, light. So you can form some answer in between how to answer this question, and then you read after that. Then you read the answer. If there is new information that you did not have it in your answer, pick it up and put it inside your drawer. Right? So let's do 1 and 2 in 1 minute. 1 minute. Let's start now. Thirty seconds. Question 1 and 2. Ten seconds. Thumbs up. So by now, your drawer 1 understanding should reach at the level of 7 by now. So let's continue for drawer 2 and the rest of the drawers. 1 minute start now. Twenty seconds. Right. Let's continue drawer 3 for 2 questions. Let's start now. Thirty seconds. All right. Question 7 and 10 and 9, sorry, and 8 for the drawer 4. Let's start now. Twenty seconds. Okay, last one. Let's start now. Ten seconds. All right, time's up. Now, before we go to step 8, you remember that we have 5 drawers: light, reflection, refraction, eye and camera, and colors. Even by looking into this drawer 1 until drawer 5, I think you can already imagine, or you can already understand what is inside light, what is inside reflection, what is inside refraction, eye and camera, and colors, right? Light, can you imagine, imagine the cartoon. Somebody, the light is travel at a speed of light and then became transparent. So what does it mean? What does it mean? It means this. Then reflection. Reflection. What was the story? Lawrence. Lawrence in the mirror, right? Lawrence in the mirror, and the face, one is rough, one side is rough, one side is smooth. So it's talking about the law of reflection, type of reflection, and the mirror image. Then refraction. Refraction. Do you remember what's the story? The truck went into mud, changed the speed, and then curved out and focus. So truck went into mud means what? Medium, change of medium and change of speed. And then curve out is the convex lens, then the focus point and focus lens. Eye and camera. Eye and camera. What is the story? You remember the story? The lab, the cool lab, the cool people in the lab. Cool people in the lab, right? Reading what? Reading octopus. So that reflects the component of eyes. Then light always adjusts and lens cuts stall. That to reflect the component of camera. Then colors. Colors is what? Colors is the, let me see. Yeah, colors is the story of the apple, the red apple. Red apple hits red and white hits 7 colors, right? So with that in mind, let's proceed with step 8. Step 8. By now, your understanding level is no longer 1 or 2. Your understanding level maybe is reaching 7 for each of the drawer. Now let's try to increase it to 1 more step further by watching this video.
You see it every single day, but have you ever really stopped to think about it? I mean, really think about light itself? Well, today we're going on a journey to finally understand what it is, where it comes from, and how it creates the incredible, colorful world we live in. Just look at this. We've all seen something like it, right? A rainbow, sunlight hitting a glass, just so. It's beautiful for sure, but it's so much more than that. This is actually a clue, a secret key to understanding what light really is, and we are going to unlock it together. And that's the big question, isn't it? We get this white light from the sun, from our light bulbs, but then the world is just bursting with color. So how do we get from one to the other? What even is this stuff we call light? Okay, so here's the plan. We're going to follow a single ray of light on its journey. We'll start with how it travels, then we'll see what happens when it bounces off stuff, that's reflection. Then we'll check out how it bends, which is called refraction. After that, how we actually see it. And you're going to want to stick around for that last part because that's where we uncover the real secret of color. All right, let's start at the very beginning. Our little ray of light has to start somewhere, right? Its journey begins at a source, and it starts moving at a speed that is, Well, it's just mind-boggling. And look, when I say fast, I mean it's almost
Sorry, I have to stop here for a while. Did you see the video just now? Are you able to see the video just now? Or was it hang? Anyone no problem with the video? Or anyone having problem with the video? There must be either problem or no problem. But nobody is raising his hand or her hand. Let me see in the message. No new message. Hello, is everyone here? You're here, yes, Jin Sam. But are you able to see the video and listen to the person who is speaking? Yes. Okay. I think you can't hear. Okay, let me stop sharing and start sharing again. Okay. To the benefit of everyone, I will rewind the video again. For those who watched it before just now, you can take it as a revision.
you see it every single day, but have you ever really stopped to think about it?
Jing Sam, can you hear the video now? Yes. Okay, let's continue.
I mean, really think about light itself? Well, today we're going on a journey to finally understand what it is, where it comes from, and how it creates the incredible, colorful world we live in. Just look at this. We've all seen something like it, right? A rainbow, sunlight hitting a glass, just so. It's beautiful, for sure. But it's so much more than that. This is actually a clue, a secret key to understanding what light really is, and we are going to unlock it together. And that's the big question, isn't it? We get this white light from the sun, from our light bulbs, but then the world is just bursting with color. So how do we get from one to the other? What even is this stuff we call light? Okay, so here's the plan. We're going to follow a single ray of light on its journey. We'll start with how it travels, then we'll see what happens when it bounces off stuff. That's reflection. Then we'll check out how it bends, which is called refraction. After that, how we actually see it. And you're going to want to stick around for that last part because that's where we uncover the real secret of color. All right, let's start at the very beginning. Our little ray of light has to start somewhere, right? Its journey begins at a source, and it starts moving at a speed that is, well, it's just mind-boggling. And look, when I say fast, I mean it's almost impossible to imagine. Light travels at 300,000 kilometers every single second. To give you some perspective, the light from the sun takes a full 8 minutes to travel all the way to Earth. That's why you hear astronomers talk about light years. And remember, that's a measure of distance, not time. It's the distance light can travel in 1 year. So where's all this light coming from? Well, you have luminous objects like the sun or a lamp. They actually make or emit their own light. But pretty much everything else you see, your desk, a book, the cat sleeping on the chair, those are non-luminous. The only reason you can see them at all is because they reflect light from a luminous source into your eyes. So, on its journey, our little ray of light is going to run into all sorts of stuff. If it hits something transparent, like a clean window, boom, it goes right through. If it hits something translucent, like frosted glass, the light gets through, but it's all jumbled up and scattered. And if it hits something opaque, like a wall, well, it stopped dead in its tracks. So what happens then? When our light ray slams into that wall, it can't go through and it can't just disappear,
Drawer two.
right? It has to go somewhere. So it bounces, and this big bounce has a name: reflection.
Yeah, that's all it is. Reflection is simply light bouncing off a surface. It's the whole reason we can see things that don't make their own light. And it's the magic behind every mirror you've ever looked in.
But here's the cool part. This bouncing isn't just random. It's not just flying off in any old direction. It follows a very specific, very reliable rule called the law of reflection. And all it says is that the angle the light comes in at is the exact same angle it goes out at. Always. Super simple, but super important. So, let me ask you this. Why can you see your reflection in a mirror, but not in a white wall? It all comes down to the surface. A mirror is incredibly smooth, so all the light rays bounce off in a nice, orderly way. That's called specular reflection. But a wall, even one that feels smooth, is actually super rough at a microscopic level. So light hits it and just scatters everywhere. That's diffuse reflection. Okay, so we know what happens when light bounces. But what if it can go through something? What if it moves from, say, the air into a glass of water? It doesn't just keep going straight. It does something really weird. It bends. We've all seen this, right? You put a straw or a pencil in a glass of water, and it looks like it's broken right where it hits the water. It's a classic illusion. Your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. You're seeing a fundamental property of light called refraction. So that's refraction. It's just the bending of light when it moves from one thing into another. And the reason it happens is because light actually changes speed. It moves faster through air than it does through water. And that change in speed forces it to change direction. It's the same reason a swimming pool always looks way shallower than it actually is. Okay, I love this analogy. It makes it so clear. Picture a little toy truck driving from a fast, smooth road onto a slow, muddy patch. The first wheel that hits the mud slows right down, while the other one is still on the road, going fast. What happens? The whole truck is forced to turn. Light does the exact same thing when it goes from fast air to slow water. So our little light ray has shot out from a source, bounced off an object, maybe even bent through some water, and now it's at the end of its line. It has reached destination, a detector, something that can
Drop a
finally
ball.
capture it, something like your eye or a camera. I mean, the human eye is just an incredible piece of biological engineering. Light comes in, the lens focuses it onto the retina at the very back. The retina is packed with special cells that turn that light into electrical signals for your brain. But here's the wild part. The image that actually lands on your retina is completely upside down. Your brain just flips it around for you without you even knowing.
And what's really fascinating is how we basically copied our own eyes when we invented the camera. The eye has a lens to focus, so does a camera. Your eye has a pupil that opens and closes to let in more or less light. A camera has an aperture. And where your eye has the light-sensitive retina, a camera has a sensor or film. It's the same design.
So that image that's formed on your retina or on the camera sensor, scientists call that a real image. You can actually project it onto a surface. This is different from the image you see in a mirror. That's a virtual image because it only looks like it's behind the glass. You could never actually put a screen back there and capture it.
Okay, we've reached the final leg of our journey.
Roll of
And
5.
honestly, this is the best part. We followed our ray of light from start to finish, but we still haven't cracked that first big mystery. Where does all the color come from? It's time for the big reveal.
Remember this from the beginning? It turns out this image held the secret the whole time. What we call white light isn't actually white at all. It's a jumbled up mixture of every single color of the rainbow. A prism doesn't make the colors, it just unjumbles them. It separates out the colors that were packed inside the light all along. And that process is called dispersion. So what's actually happening here? Well, dispersion is really just a special kind of refraction. As the white light enters the prism, each color inside it gets bent. But, and this is the key, each one bends by a slightly different amount. Violet light bends the most, red light bends the least. And that little difference is what fans them all out into that beautiful spectrum. And here is the absolute craziest part of this whole story. Your eyes, they can only actually see 3 colors: red, green, and blue. That's it. Every other color you have ever experienced in your entire life is just your brain mixing signals from those 3. So think about a red apple. The apple's surface is absorbing all the other colors from the sunlight, and it's reflecting only the red light for your eye to see. The color isn't in the apple. The color is in the light. And that just leaves us with this one final kind of mind-bending thought. All this stuff, reflection, refraction, it all happens out there in the world. But color? Color happens inside your head. Your brain builds this entire vibrant reality from just 3 basic signals. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other secrets is light carrying that our eyes just aren't built to see?
All right. Interesting. So maybe what you see in front of you, the colors are red, blue, white, and you ask a cat, and if the cat can tell you, maybe the cat saw different colors. Right? Now let's go to step 9, which is listening to the podcast.
If you look out your window right now and see this,
right? So it's about 5 minutes, and I will play the podcast, and at the same time, I will highlight which part in the drawer they are discussing.
sun, you aren't actually seeing it as it is. You're looking at a ghost.
Right, a ghost from like 8 minutes ago.
Yeah, 8.3 minutes to be exact. Basically, everything you see right now is just an echo of the past. Welcome to this deep dive into the incredible journey of light.
It really forces you to reframe your physical reality. I mean, we're dealing with a speed so immense, like 300,000 kilometers a second.
Which is just wild to think about.
Exactly. At that speed, distance effectively just becomes time. That 8.3 minutes is simply how long it takes for the sun's light to cross 150 million kilometers to actually hit your eye.
I mean, I like to think of the sun or, even just a lamp on your desk like a speaker blasting original music. They're luminous.
Right, generating their own light.
Exactly. But almost everything else around you is just echoing that light. And that light travels in perfectly straight lines through the universe until it, hits something.
And that straight line journey is really where the illusions start. When light hits a solid, smooth surface like a mirror, it bounces off at the exact same angle it hit.
The classic law of reflection.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, I have to stop you on mirrors because I'm genuinely trying to wrap my head around this part of the source material. We're always told that mirrors swap left and right.
Oh, yeah, that's a total myth.
But how can that be? If I raise my right hand, my reflection's left hand goes up.
It definitely feels that way, but mirrors actually swap front and back. It creates this virtual image.
Front and back.
Yeah, think of a mirror like pressing your hand into wet sand. The imprint doesn't like flip your thumb to the other side.
Oh, right. It just pushes the front of my hand to the back of the imprint.
Exactly. You're looking at an inverted depth, not a sideways swap.
Oh, wow. That actually makes so much sense. And because your brain always assumes light travels in a straight line, it just gets completely tricked into perceiving that 3D image existing behind the glass.
That's the core illusion. I mean, smooth surfaces give you that clear, perfect bounce, but rough surfaces just scatter the light everywhere.
So that's diffuse reflection.
Right.
But bouncing is really only half the story here. The real optical weirdness happens because light doesn't just bounce, it penetrates.
Yeah, and when it penetrates water or glass, it suddenly hits the brakes.
Which brings us to refraction.
Yep. Changing mediums physically alters the speed of light, which, forces it to bend.
I love the analogy in the sources for this. Imagine a truck driving off fast pavement and hitting thick mud at an angle.
Right, so one tire hits the mud first.
Exactly. The first tire suddenly slows down. The other tires are still moving super fast on the pavement. That speed difference just yanks the whole truck into a completely new direction.
And that same mechanism is exactly why a pencil looks snapped in half in a glass of water, or why a swimming pool is actually much deeper than it looks from the edge.
And biology totally hijacked this physics trick. Like, your eye uses a convex lens to bend light in the exact same way.
It is striking how much the human eye operates like a camera. I mean, both rely on a lens to focus light through a single opening.
The aperture in a camera or the pupil in your eye.
Right. And they use that to project a real image onto a surface at the back. So a digital camera uses a pixel grid, while your eye uses the retina.
Which is packed with all those photoreceptors.
Exactly.
But here is the absolutely wild part about that projection. The physical image burned onto your retina is completely upside down.
Yeah, because of how the lens bends the light.
So your brain has to constantly manually flip the entire world right side up.
It's a massive processing load.
But it's totally seamless. We don't even realize it's happening.
No, not at all.
Okay, so we've got this upside down straight line echo bouncing to our heads. Take a look around whatever room you're sitting in right now.
Yeah.
How does that image actually get painted with vibrant colors?
Well, it all comes down to frequency. White light is actually a continuous spectrum of every color combined.
Like when it hits a prism and splits.
Right, dispersion. Because higher frequency light, like violet, it bends a lot more than lower frequency red light.
Which leads to the ultimate mind bender, that red apple on your counter. It isn't inherently red.
Not at all. The apple is absorbing every other color in the spectrum.
The only color it rejects
is red. Yeah, it just bounces it back into your eye.
You aren't seeing objects. You're seeing the specific frequencies of light those objects decided to reject. It completely breaks how you think about reality.
Yeah, our whole visual world is just a complex dance of absorbed and rejected frequencies.
Which leaves us with the perfect puzzle to end on.
Let's hear it.
So if you take a green shirt and put it under a pure red light, it looks completely black.
Right, because there's no green light for it to reflect.
Exactly. So it begs the question, what is the true color of an object in the dark? Think about that next time you turn off the lights.
All right, interesting. I think it's interesting. Now, we have completed step 9. So by now, your level should reach near to 9. And I think, and I believe you feel the same way. Compared to at 8:43, about 1.5 hours ago, your level of understanding was maybe 1 or 2 when you first read step 1 and step 2. 1.5 hours later, the level increased from 1 to 9. This is what you feel, and this is what I feel also. So to test it, let's go for the MCQ. Right, ask me an MCQ 2 by 2 without answer. Name the drawer and number it. Right, so on your right hand side is the keynotes as your reference, or you can use the drawing as your reference. It's really up to you. And on the right side is the questions. So let's do the questions in the message. Tell me which question and which answer. Let's start now. You can type in message. Wait, where's the drawer? Ah, yes, drawer. We have the drawer already. Drawer 1 light. Question 1, question 2. What is the answer? Eric, B. What about Xuan Xuan and Jing Sam? Jing Sam mentioned B. I assume is question 1. There are 2 questions here. Two is drawer 1 and is C. What about the rest? Any more answers? Jing Sam also answers C. What about Jaden? Jaden, what do you think? Jaden, what do you think? Yes, Jaden is typing. Shen Shen is not typing, maybe it's the connectivity issue, the internet. You change your mind. Question 2. Is it question 2? 1B, 2C. Eric, you change your mind. What is on the drawer? All right. Okay. It is drawer 1. Look at here. So your first answer is correct. Okay. You're right. You're right. Question 1, maybe it's drawer 1 or maybe it's drawer 2. It could be. You're right. You're right. You're right. Okay. So I think we got the answer. What about Jaden? Jaden C. C, I assume you are referring to 2, question 2. Okay. So I think we all agree B and C. Let's see. All right. So far so good. Let's move on to 3 and 4. 3 and 4. 3 and 4. right? 3 and 4. 3 is C, 4 is C. For Eric, 3 is B. So B or C. 4 is C. I write wrongly. Okay, so there's no C. So it's B. B and B. B and C. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so far so good. Let's do 5 and 6.
I don't. Wait. Yeah. Wait.
5 minutes, 5 minutes.
Symmetry. Actually, wait. After I'm done with something, I'll call back. Okay. Okay. I'll have to call my friend. Okay.
Okay. Ren is here also. Ren, what is question 5 and question 6?
Question 5B. 6C.
Okay. Same as Jing Sam, same as Eric. Xuan Xuan is typing. Let's wait for Xuan Xuan. Jaden, we need you, Jaden. Jaden, what about you? Any answer from your side? What is 5 and what is 6? Do you agree it's B and C? Jaden is typing. All right. Okay, you agree. Perfect. Everyone got it correct. Now, 7 and 8. We are almost done. Okay, Ren, what is 7 and what is 8? Yeah.
7A. 8. No, not 7A. 7. 7. 7C.
7C,
8C.
8C, Jing Sam also. CC, Eric also CC. Xuan Xuan and Jaden. Jaden, what about your answer? Let's wait for Jaden for a while. He's typing. CC as well. Right. Let's try. Everyone's getting CC. Excellent. Okay, last set of questions. 9 and 10.
A. 9A. 10. Oh, no, 9B. 9B. 10. A. 10A.
What does a red filter do to a white light? Jaden answer. 10D. Okay, we have Xuan Xuan is C, Jaden is B, Eric is B or C, Jing Sam is B. What about Yongren? You don't know. If you have to guess which one, you guess B. So B or C. B or C. Which one has majority? We have a B as majority. Let's see. Transmit red light and absorb others, or absorb red light only. Aha, the answer is C. Xuan got it correct. All right. So we got 9 out of 10 and 10 out of 10. Oh, Jing Sam, you got it right also. So 10 out of 10. Okay. So I think this proven. This proven that our level now increased to 9 or some 10. Right? 9 or some 10. Yes, Eric, you say you got it because you saw the explanation. That's good. That's good. Half right. Okay. 9.5. Either case, 8, 9, 9.5, or 10, this is excellent because you did it in only less than 2 hours. Less than 2 hours. We started 8:45. Now is 10:28. 10:28. 10:28. 10:28 a.m. Okay. So I think it's a good class. So next question is, how do you maintain yourself at 9.5, Eric, at 10, Xuan Xuan and Jing Sam, at 9 for Ren and Jaden? How do you maintain? How do you maintain? Right, the answer is simple. I've already created an answer for you. Don't worry, we have the solution. The solution is, where is this? Yes, the solution is do this revision step, only 4 steps, but you have to do it frequently by yourself, right? I will not be able to be next to you every day for 10 minutes to run this with you. You have to do it yourself if you want to maintain at 9.5, Eric. If you want to maintain at 10 or 9, right? Maintain at 9 or 10, right? So I made it easier for you with this story, the funny story in animations. So hope that will help you to do this revision even quicker, less than 10 minutes, definitely. Okay. Thank you very much. Whoever who wants to watch the video back is always in my YouTube channel. You can watch it anytime. If you need the notes, if you need the link for any videos, you can just message me. Right? I have everything. I do not know which one do you need because the file is big. All right. Thank you very much. Hope you learned something today in this class. Jing San is typing, so I'll wait for him. Right. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. See you next week.